We're going to move on to our guest speaker, invité d'honneur, Gabriel Sara. Just before we do, all right, we'll talk later. Gabi, let's go. Basil is going to interview Gabi, who is the chairman of Jamhour Alumni US. Basil.
Technical. Okay, is this working? Okay, fine.
All right.
So yes, please join me in welcoming our guest of honor tonight, Dr. Gabriel Sara, class of 1972, medical director of the chemotherapy suite at Mount Sinai West. Gabby, welcome. All right, Gabby. So, for the first time in 17 GIUS dinners, the roles are reversed, and you're the one being interviewed. How does it feel?
A lot of fun for me. I'm going to test you out.
Yeah, I know. I feel the pressure. Before I start, I'd like to say a few words to our audience about our relationship to put things in perspective. Gabby and I met about 10 plus years ago at the GIS dinner, but we really got to know each other when I joined the board and we're working closely, or at least I thought I knew him. Over the past 3 months since we decided that Gabby was going to be our guest of honor, I've listened to truly countless hours of podcasts, interviews, and spoken to many of Gabby's closest friends and family. And I have to admit that I've discovered many fascinating aspects of Gabby that I wasn't aware of, and I'm sure our audience will enjoy. So with that, I'd like to start off by talking about Gabby the activist. Gabby, so many people in our audience only know you as the chair of GIUS and an activist in the US. But that's not really the entire story. Tell us a little bit about your activism in Lebanon, and especially during the war.
So, first of all, thank you for having me tonight. I feel very honored, actually, to be here today on this part of the interview. I was blessed to have a family where my parents always have been involved in activism and in not-for-profit organization. So I grew up in this kind of atmosphere about the awareness of the community around us, that we're responsible for whatever we can do to make a difference around us. So the early things I've done, I joined the Red Cross during the war because I never believed in fighting in the street. I believed in fighting to make people better. So as a young medical student, I was in the Red Cross for a while, and that was an incredible experience for me to be there. And that was really what I've done in Lebanon. After this, I came here to continue my studies, and I was looking for whatever we can do to do something to help Lebanon, because it was so difficult for me and like everybody else here to be far from Lebanon, feel paralyzed, unable to help. And I said, we have to start small and maybe grow, and we have to work on local. So I've been involved several times in groups to help Lebanon, and eventually we created the Jamhour Alumni, which have been really a wonderfully run place with a group. I'm not the one. I mean, everybody else has made Jamhour what it is. We also joined, my wife and I, Arc-en-Ciel. I have to say that Nada has been incredibly important in my work in Jamhour. I think without her, I couldn't have done anything with Jamhour. We work with Arc-en-Ciel, and she's been mainly involved. I do nothing almost. So, but I believe that everyone who can join any group to make a difference in our community should. Everybody.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to jump back and forth. I'm going to jump back and forth a little bit, especially, you touched upon Jamhour, and even though I'm the president, you want to share with everyone how did Jamhour form, Jamhour US form? And since you were a founding member, and I know Neda was as well, how did it all happen? How did it all unfold?
In 2003, I have to say that after leaving Lebanon, I was really disconnected from the school. I got involved in medical school, in training here. But in 2003, the Jamhour Amical reached out to me to say, listen, can you help us start something? And I also was inspired by my friend Donald Eddy, who is in Montreal. Donald had started also the alumni of Canada. And he called me up. He said, Gabby, you cannot sit around like that. You have to do something, So he pushed me around, and I felt I could not just watch what's happening and not do anything. So we came up with a group here, and that's how it started. So,
That's how it started. Okay.
So the founding members who are here, many of them,
Yep.
Bud, Nada, Christian,
Yep.
Nadine was in the group as well. So it's been very rewarding to work with the group here.
Fantastic. I'm going to go back a little bit to Lebanon. I want to know a little bit about your experiences in Lebanon as a paramedic during the war. What was that about? How did that impact you, and what was some of your toughest experiences there?
Well, the one thing you feel when you are in the war, unless you are a militant fighting on the street, where you think you have a goal and whatever your beliefs are, but I think for a lot of us who did not fight on the street, you feel paralyzed. You feel that you cannot do anything about it because whatever is going on, you don't control it anyway. But being a paramedic with the Red Cross gives you the feeling of that, wow, I'm doing something helpful for this country. War is going on, but I can help people. That feeling actually take away the depressing part of the war, because you're helping something and you're focused on getting things better. So it gives you some optimism. It's this, in the darkness of it. It's amazing that you feel that you have something that you can do.
Was there something memorable that happened to you during that time that you'll never forget and you think that influenced you in a profound way?
Countless things, of course. But one of the things that during the war I experienced is facing death, almost being killed myself several times. I don't know how I got away with it. Many times, not one time. But with this, I think without me realizing it, I think it got me to become familiar with death. It was no longer something strange to me. And I never thought that the experience of the war, taking care of wounded people and seeing death in really facing me all the time, helped me as a cancer specialist today deal with the death of my patient much better than many maybe around me. So it really changed me a lot, in a better person probably.
Okay. With that, so I kind of did at least spotted it in my mind as, Gabby the activist, and we'll touch upon that a bit more. But let's talk a little bit more about Gabby the doctor, the oncologist, which some of us here knows you, but a lot of us don't. Again, after listening to countless testimonies and hours of podcasts, I came to the conclusion that you have somewhat of a unique and thoughtful approach to your practice. Tell us a little bit about your medical philosophy.
Huge topic. It could
I
be
know.
2 hours.
Okay.
I don't know whether people want to spend 2 hours listening to me.
I have many topics I'm going to touch upon, but just...
I would say one thing is that, of course, it's a huge discussion. I'm not going to bore you with all the stories. But something that comes up a lot from friends around me who ask me, how can you do it, Gabe? At the hospital, my colleagues surprised. I'm an optimistic person. The people who know me usually see me smiling and happy about my life, and I feel blessed every day. But and they are surprised that I'm not depressed, I don't cry, and then my work doesn't kill me emotionally. And I can tell you, being an oncologist is an incredibly rewarding field, because there is always something you can do for any patient. Any patient. You have the people that you can cure, that's your goal. You have the people that you cannot cure, but that you can help feel better. You will try to make them feel better. And there are people that you cannot cure, you cannot really make live longer, and you know that they're gonna die, and you can make their deaths different. You can help them live whatever is left in a different way. You can help their family cope with it. And I shock people when I say that you can help people come to a beautiful death. Why not? I mean, in this room, I don't think anyone can claim he will not die one day. And I wish for everyone that they can say one day, you know, he had a beautiful death. We can do that. As an oncologist, we deal with this all the time. There is no reason not to help people get there.
Okay. So again, I'm doing this for the first time. We're jumping through my questions, but it's okay.
You're not bad so far.
That's okay. Since you're talking about the topic of death, obviously it's a very tough topic, and it's one that you were faced with both in Lebanon and in your practice on a regular basis. And you know, in your interviews, you were talking about a beautiful death. What is that, and what are the 5 words that you describe?
I mean, as ugly as death sounds, if we want to talk about beautiful death, is a peaceful one. The one when you get there, accepting it with your surrounding, also accepting it, having, if you could, resolve all the problems that you did not resolve in your life, have a closure to things that need to have closure, have peace in your family. You know, all these things can be achieved. It's amazing when you know that you have a deadline in your life, it can transform everything in your life. And I've seen so many transformations in my patients when I help them see what's going on, how they change their life, their family life, and then after their death, they will remember as amazing people.
Is there like a specific instance you want to share?
Too complicated to talk about every case,
Okay.
but this is basically the big picture, is that I think knowing the truth helps you get peacefully there.
Do you want to share with us the 5 words?
Yeah, he heard me on a podcast mentioning the 5 words.
I did my homework.
You know, not to try to make you sad, guys, but the 5 words that I hope I'll be able to say to my family and my loved one, and for anyone who is at his deathbed, and my patients have been able to do that, and I help them do it, is to be able to say, forgive me, I forgive you, thank you, I love you, goodbye.
The mug. Okay, so we're going to talk about something less morbid. Honesty, well, we had quite a bit of material tonight. Honesty and radical truth. Why is it so important to you? And how did you come to that conclusion? And how does it impact your patients? And just before we do that, can I get the mug? Honesty is better. No, okay, well, that's fine. Honesty is better than sugar-coated bullshit. That's the mug on Gabby's desk. It's not me. So, tell us about it. What's up with the mug?
Actually, that mug is from one of my students, who is actually a Jamhour Alumni and a UB graduate, Katya Janadri, who is an amazing, amazing young woman, and some people know her here. She spent 2 months with me training, and she realized that I was always so honest with my patient, so truthful. I never, ever sugar-coated anything, and we don't need to be rude to be honest. Okay. And when she finished, she offered me this mug, which I love because it's exactly what I do. And actually, I have it on my desk. When a patient comes to see me, I tell them from day one, you know, I just want to let you know, you don't know me, but I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. I will never, ever hide something from you. I will never make it look nicer than what it looks. So, and I say, if it's good, I'll tell you it's good, and you better believe me. But if it's not bad, it's bad, I'll tell you it's bad, and you better believe me.
Gabby, how did you come to that conclusion, though? How did you, like, you know, I know your family influenced that quite a bit.
Well, you know, I always grew up in this family that is very straight, honest, never lied to each other. We always said to each other what we thought. So I grew up in that milieu, and it was natural for me to be the same with my friends, my family, and my patient. And it pays up so much with your patient when you are honest with them, because they really believe in you and trust you. And it's funny because when they see that, most of my patients smile and look at each other and take a picture of the mug. and then later on, when they realize that I never lied to them, they say to each other, you see, he did what he said on the mug. And they laugh about it. So you put some humor on the table sometimes. It helps.
Okay. I'm going to switch to a different topic, as well, a light one. Music and singing. And I know this might come across as odd to a lot of in our audience, but it's influenced both your personal and professional life, and it is an integral part of your philosophy, at least from what I...
Can you repeat the first word I missed?
Music and
music,
singing.
okay.
And singing.
Yeah.
So tell us how you integrate it and why do you think it's so therapeutic? And I know that, based on the testimonies that I've heard, it's integral to, what you do. And I've seen, videos of you removing the bone marrow while singing with the patient, which I thought was mind-blowing. But how? Why?
So I love music. I grew up in a very musical milieu in my family. I'm not a professional musician but at all, but I play some music instruments and I sing and I love it. And I think if you think about it, music is important in life, in all the societies. You have music at your wedding, you have music at births, at christening, at funerals, at every occasion.
Yeah.
Music is important. So I learned about music therapy, that there was something called music therapy, which I didn't know existed, 15 years ago plus. And I was able to start a program of music therapy, actually thanks to a fund that is called Sawaya Fund, which we started after Fuad Sawaya, who's one of our friends here. His wife passed away from breast cancer. Everybody knows the story. And we founded something with her name, with music therapy included for patients. So we have music therapists who are at the hospital and do therapy via the music. And I participate frequently with them because I love it. And the power of music is unbelievable because music is a universal language. We may speak different language, but we all speak the music language. And the music allow us to express our sorrows or our joys with music. And not everybody can express how they feel, but with the music they do. And when you express how you feel much better. And medically speaking, I tell you, I've seen pain getting better with music. I've seen nausea improving with music. So music is a very powerful tool. It's cheap, and it has no side effects.
Okay, so Gabby, you touched briefly upon the Sawaya Fund. Tell us a little bit more about it. And I know Fuad will be listening attentively when he's viewing this replay. So
Yeah.
how did that all happen?
I always dreamt that little things can make a big difference. Basically, I'll tell you a little story, but I'm not going to take the whole evening for it.
Don't worry, we have plenty of time.
I had once a patient who was actually a young woman who was dying at the hospital, and she was Italian-American, and we had prepared her for that. She was very peaceful about it, and I was coming every day to see her, and I told her, so before going home that night, I said, so what can I do for you tonight, Betty? She said, I am dying for a lasagna plate. So just imagine the hospital, the kind of hospital food. I think it has a bad reputation for a good reason. And this woman is dying, but now she's dreaming of a lasagna dish. And it was such a simple request, which at the hospital I could not fulfill. It was 7 p.m., and I was leaving, and I said, there was an Italian restaurant in my neighborhood, very good quality. I called them up, say, do you have lasagna on your menu? And I said, yes. So I ordered a lasagna to be delivered at her bedside. And I left. And the next day I arrived, and she was smiling, it was the best thing in her life, having lasagna when she was dying. And she told the lasagna story to everybody at the hospital. So eventually she died a few days later, but this gave her such a happiness, something so simple that cost me $25. And from that I said, we can do something simple, but we need money to do more things. And that's when we funded this, we started this fund, which grew in many things. I mean, including music, we have art, we have pet therapy, we have travel program for patients, we have massage for patients. All of these things happened through this fund. And it has really transformed the life of cancer patients completely.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit more about listening and respect. And I know that you touch upon these two topics a lot in your philosophy, in your interviews. Why, how do you apply it, and what do you do when you apply that to your profession?
Yeah, so listening is a very important topic in life in general, and in medicine is critical. Unfortunately, today's medicine has become very mechanical, technical, X-rays, blood tests, and we forget to listen to our patients. And patients want to be listened to. What they want is that they can tell you their stories, but we intimidate them because we're busy. We're looking at our watch when they are talking. We're trying to see many patients a day, so we don't let patients the time to talk. And if we don't give them the time to talk and we don't listen to them, they're not going to give us the clues for the diagnosis. So listening to patients as a diagnostician is a very powerful tool for us doctors, because patients will tell you all the clues that will help you make a diagnosis, but they will not tell you anything unless you're listening to them. Listening to them is like a sacred moment. It's like when you go to confession. You have to be with them 100%. Forget the whole planet and just make them feel that they are the most important person during that moment. And that's when they will talk to you. And it's amazing when you start listening this way, how much you can hear, because not only you hear the word they say to you, you can hear their feelings. And that's very powerful in a clinical setup.
You mentioned that you do something, there you set yourself up, you clear your mind, just focus completely. What are the steps, the exact steps? Because I'm sure I didn't get them right.
It's a training of the mind to do that. It's not something that you can command and do this way. But the more you try to be with the person, and the better you become at doing it. So it takes years of training doing it, but you have to be aware that it's important. And if you are, then you get better. And it's a very rewarding thing to do, very rewarding thing to be able to do that. I don't succeed always. Okay, I'm not 100%, but I always try.
A little bit of a different topic, but how did your education influence everything, and how did your faith, if any, influence?
Education, I would say, both from my own family and from the Jesuit education, I think one of the things, there are many things we can say, but an important thing is the critical mind. Critical mind I'm not going to believe everything you tell me, not because I don't believe you. I need to really question and believe that this thing is true. So, and I think it's really characteristic of our education here. Many of us here, I think, do that all the time, is that we just don't swallow everything that is given to us. We sit down, we think about it, we analyze it, then we believe it's true, then we do it. And I think having critical thinking is really important in life, especially in science and in medicine. So that helped me a lot. And it's another skill that you keep getting better at. You acquire it and you improve it, but you have to be mindful that it's an important one.
How about faith?
Faith is very personal. I think I respect everybody's faith, anybody's faith, and I think I'm a believer personally. I'm a Catholic. I have nothing to hide. I have a strong faith which I got from my education, and it does help me. It does help me a lot in difficult moments, in tough situation. It helped me personally. Now, It doesn't mean that everybody has to have it, but it just helped me a lot in my life.
Did it help you facing death?
Definitely, it does, because I believe that there is something more than just life here at Earth. I think it will be really disappointing if that when we die, it's over. But this is a controversial issue with people, but I believe personally that there's something else.
Cool. Okay, so it's my my third topic, which is probably a bit surprising for many, but Gabby, the actor. The trailer.
Bonjour, je suis le docteur Aidé.
Bonjour.
Eh bien, c'est la première fois qu'on se voit.
Ah, t'es déjà là? Qu'est-ce que tu foutais? Viens.
Non, viens.
Toi, viens, on t'attend. Ma mère.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, madame.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Je suis content que tu sois là.
Est-ce que je peux vous appeler Benjamin?
Ouais, pas de problème.
Bon, alors, Benjamin, dites-moi ce que vous pensez que vous avez. Imaginez que vous parlez à un de vos amis qui vous demande des nouvelles de votre santé.
Est-ce que je peux enregistrer?
Bien sûr.
C'est bon? Ça tourne?
Oui.
Allez, donc, ce que j'ai une merde au pancréas. Et, au début, j'avais mal au dos. On a cherché longtemps ce que j'avais. Au bout de plusieurs mois, on ne trouvait pas ce qui clochait. Ils ont fini par faire une radio, c'est ça?
Une biopsie.
Et une biopsie. Mais c'était pas le dos, en fait. Et après, un chirurgien a dit que c'était pas opérable. Et voilà.
Est-ce que vous suivez un traitement en ce moment?
Je prends juste des antidouleurs. La seule chose qu'on m'a proposée, c'est de la chimio, mais ça, je veux pas. Bon, on dit que vous êtes un as, c'est pour ça qu'on est là. Alors, est-ce que vous allez m'aider, docteur Aidé?
I guess I have so many questions, but let's start off with this. How did it all happen? How did you go from being a doctor to becoming a world-renowned actor starring as himself? Please tell us this journey.
So, as you may have guessed from my conversation earlier, I have maybe some different or special ways to approach illnesses, medicine, tragedies. And I realized it's something important that I need to share with colleagues or with students or with people or families and patients. And with Nada, my wife, we spoke about writing a book. Many people told me, why don't you write a book, etc., etc. So Nada was pushing me to write a book. But I don't have the time to do something like that. So she started, sketching a story, and we were going to work on it. I don't know when, but we were hoping to work on it. And then we go one day, we see a movie at the French festival in Lincoln Center called Standing Tall, La Tête Haute, from Emmanuel Berco, who is the movie director. That movie was absolutely incredible. It was about a handicapped child, not handicapped, delinquent child, who was in a rehab center, and it was about his re-education and to come back to the real world. And the actors were Benoît Magimel, who was the coach of the kid, and Catherine Deneuve, who was the judge for the children. And the movie was really amazing, and the Q&A was even more impressive. Emmanuel Berco was there, and I said to myself, wow, this woman has such a depth of understanding what human tragedy is about. And I just felt a magnetic attraction to talk to her, thinking that maybe she can understand my philosophy and do something about it. So I went down, and I was able to really grab her attention between 40 other people who were around me. And
when was that, Gabby?
It was in 2017, maybe.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And I needed to say something to grab her attention, whatever. And there were like so many people. So you don't try to So once I saw that she looked at me, I told her in French, I said, Madame, est-ce que vous voudriez aller dans les tranchées du cancer? Would you like to go to the trenches of cancer? I didn't say, how are you, hello, what, I just threw that sentence at her. I actually didn't remember I said it. She told me that I said to her this. And that shocked her. And so she like interrupted everything, looked at me, said, why not? So I said, well, how can I contact you? Just give me your email. And the rest is history. From that email, we started to talk to each other. And one day she told me that, you know, I'm going to come to New York because I want to be with you for 5 days and discuss with you. And so she did that. And then.
So when was that? So emails started 2017, 2018?
Yeah. 2018, she came back for spending some time with me. And she said, same year, I think we spent 5 weeks in New York. Many meetings, many discussions. She met my nurse. She met a couple of my close friends who were patients of mine. So she spoke to them in their home or something like that. And so she got a good idea of what kind of practice I have. And then she said, we're going to do a movie. Great. I was very excited. I mean, imagine having somebody like her making a movie about my philosophy. And for me, it was an incredible achievement. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. And then one day she sent me an email. I'm going to surprise you, Gabriel. We already have everything. We have the budget for the movie. We have the actors. And I think that you'll be the best guy to play the doctor in the movie. So, as I say, I don't flip easily because I see a lot of things. I never flip, but here I flipped, obviously. And when I flip, my first reflex is I forward the email to Nada.
Okay.
And I can't continue drowning, seeing patients, and Nada immediately called me on my cell phone. Gabby, did you read the email? I said, yes, I read the email. I said, no, you didn't read it. I said, I read it. No, you didn't read the email. Read the email. So I said, okay.
That actually sounds exactly like Nada.
So I read the email, and then I see Catherine Deneuve, Benoît Magimel. So you see, you didn't read the email. I said, yes. So it was really like an incredible thing. And then she told me, you know, if we want to put you in the movie, we need to do a casting session, see that you can be good in front of the camera. So I ended up going to Paris, spent a weekend with Emmanuel and other actors, and I had to learn my lines for one scene. And also she made me play a couple of scenes that were unexpected. Like she would create something to surprise me, to see how I was going to react. And she told me, listen, in a month and a half, I'll answer you. And exactly a month and a half, she sent me an email. I'm going to surprise you, but we decided you were the best for the role.
Fantastic.
And that's how it went. And later on, in the movie, there is a small portion where I have my wife in the movie. So I asked her who you're going to pick for my wife, because she picked Catherine Deneuve for the mother of the patient, Cécile de France, my nurse. She said, well, will Nada accept to be in the movie? I said, I don't know, ask Nada.
Forward the email.
So she emailed Nada, who was in Lebanon at that time, and Nada nicely accepted. So she has a small role, but for me, it's great to have her. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I really felt it was our adventure. It wasn't mine. It was our together, which made it very different for me.
So obviously you're a doctor used to like a completely different environment. What were some of your biggest challenges adapting to being an actor which has a completely different skill set?
Yeah. So many challenges, but first of all, I had to learn a lot of lines. That was hard because, I'm no longer 25 years old. And, trying to remember those lines was very hard. So I did a lot of rehearsal with Nada, who would... I'll give her the book, and then I will, rehearse, and she will respond to me. And, of course, she's one of the people who will criticize me very easily.
Yeah.
So she would help me get better. So there was a lot of work with her. I did a lot of work on my own, learning lines. And so it was hard, but you have to learn really completely everything. You can't not think about what you are saying. You have to know it by heart so you can act with your
This
emotion.
must be very challenging for you because I know you. Gabby never writes a speech. He always just swings it. So this must have been very difficult.
Yeah, I had to learn. I could not make up stuff, you know. But you know, at the beginning, it was funny because I was trying to play the doctor in the movie, and it wasn't working right.
Okay.
Because it was hard for me to play myself. You know, like I'm gonna play my role. You know, till I understood that I just have to be myself. I didn't have to play myself. I had to be myself and really believe that what I was doing was real.
So were you changing some of the stuff that was happening, like the script, for example? Did you tell them like, hey, that's not actually how real life things happen?
Is it working? Your microphone? Do you hear Bas? Yeah. So what's your question again?
Did you have to change some of or give them advice on some of the scripts, like, hey, this is not how real life, how it
Yes,
happens?
of course. You know, we went over the script extensively, Emmanuel and I. And then, you know, I made not huge correction, but a lot of little corrections. And she was really she has such an integrity in her thinking that she wants to make sure that everything is really authentic. So I was certainly in the best position to help make everything look very authentic and real. You know, definitely, yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to play something. So for a lot of you that don't know it, the movie got nominated to Cannes. And this is the premiere, and this is what happened. So this goes on for a full 5 minutes, but you get the gist of it. So how did it feel to be part of it? I mean, I can only imagine, but you tell us.
It was a lot of fun, actually. I really enjoyed myself. I have to say that I think people think that it's intimidating to be in Cannes. Maybe it is intimidating, but the whole group of actors, Emmanuel, and all, I mean, you know, when you are shooting a movie, there are 50 people around you, part of that moment, and you become friendly with all of them, the technician, the cameraman, the electrician, the sound engineer. Was
there any doctors?
Yes, Dr. Sara. So you know, it becomes like a family. I mean, I lived 4 months with these people every single day. So you become very close. I mean, to each one of the actors, and I have to say they were all wonderful people. Such warm, nice, and they were all supporting me because they knew I was the only guy who's never done that. So they were really supporting me. It was very important for me to feel supported by them. And so after all these months together, and then I have not seen anybody for a year between the last day we filmed, you know, this and the Cannes, it was a year. So we were like seeing each other again. It was such an amazing feeling. We were having such a good time being together. And actually, if you watch the red carpet walk, you will see, compared to other films, we were like a gang with each other. like happy to be with each other. And that's how I felt. I really enjoyed every second. I expected that we were going to have a standing ovation. I really did. Because I knew the film impacted people, and you could feel when they were projecting the movie, which I was seeing for the first time. Nada and I had never seen it before. We were seeing it that night. You could feel the emotion in the room, and I expected a standing ovation, but not that much.
Okay.
That was like, wow. But it was fun because we were enjoying
You're
it.
having a good
We were
time.
enjoying it really to the max, yeah.
Thank you, Gabby. I have many questions, but I feel I'm going to open it up to the audience. Yes. Wait, let me get you the mic. So Bud's question is, what are you going to do next? So yeah, exactly. So you mean you've been doctor, activist, doctor, actor. What's next?
Well, you know, I'm continuing to be a doctor, which I love to do. It's a job that I think I am very blessed to have. Whether I'll be in another movie, I don't know. But I can tell you, it is such an incredible experience. I loved every second of it, even when I was having a hard time. Because I tell you, there were days where I was horrible. I was making mistakes. I was messing up the whole filming day. You know, because
What did Nada say?
Nada was perfectly fine, supporting me every day. Every day, she was with me all the time. But you know, you make mistakes and you delay the whole scene. You really feel bad, but actually, I was able to get through that. But despite that, I enjoyed every moment, and it's such a beautiful experience. And I always loved to be in theater, which I never had the chance to. So it was like a crash course of theater. So I had such a good time that I can tell you, if somebody offered me tomorrow another movie, I will not even think a second. I say yes.
No forwarding emails?
And I learned a lot. I learned so much that I feel much more comfortable now. If I have to go another place, I'll do it. Yeah.
Anyone else? And we do have online. So Joey, please make sure you check online if anyone has questions.
Gabby, you know, we're supposed to be very close in this committee, but you managed to hide from us this whole affair for over a year. Are you going to be as secretive for the next movie?
You know, it was such an incredible story that even today, I know Nada and I frequently wonder whether it happened. It was just so unbelievable that none of us wanted to disclose anything before it was over. So because you don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to work now? So we kept it really very discreet till it was over. There are only a handful of people I told what was going on, but not before it was over.
Sorry, Karim, you weren't in.
That's fine. Can I ask you another question? Catherine Deneuve, anything you can tell us about her? Did you get to know her more personally throughout this? I mean, how is she as a person that is beyond the screens? I mean, is she? How would you describe her character and her personality?
Well, you know, first of all, you know, I think all of us know how famous she is worldwide, and but you do not realize how venerated she is till you are there. I mean, when Catherine Deneuve walks anywhere, it was like an event. Like we had dinner in a restaurant the first week I arrived to Paris. They wanted us to meet, her and I, so we went in a small committee. We were like 5 people. They wanted to see whether we can get acquainted to each other because, I mean, we're going to be together in the movie. So I can tell you, they gave us a private room, but the entire restaurant, you could tell they knew Catherine Deneuve is coming. You know, it's something, you realize how huge she is, but she is a very, very modest person, very simple, loving, charming, low-key. You know, she doesn't intimidate you or something like. She doesn't have attitude like that. I thought she was wonderful and great actress, obviously. I mean, she's fabulous. But I had a very good time with Catherine Deneuve, and we are very good friends. I mean, you can see we like each other very much. Yeah, yeah.
I noticed you were sitting next to her.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, people have this image of her as a snobbish person or arrogant, but you don't see that at all. I have not seen this at all in the 4 months spent with her.
Donald Idde from Zoom has a question for you, Gabi. How did Jamhour teaching help you go through this challenging new role of acting?
I don't know that Jamhour helped me to become an actor. But I have to say, and Père Batou, you should know that, when we were in Jamhour and then the 1972 promo guy, Raymond, Jacques, Hélène Nacy would remember that in the 5e, I think, we had Professor Charles Abou Shara, who actually taught us cinema. We're talking in the 60s. In the 60s, we have a course of cinema in Jamhour. And we actually made a movie in class. This is 1966, maybe. Jamhour l'an 2000. So we imagine how Jamhour would look 40 years later.
Did it work?
And actually, I remember very well, one of the things was that to learn your text, so if you remember in Arabic, we say bibla, right? So like you swallow. So actually, we would take the text to read, and we smash it, and we will eat it. This was Jamhour in 2000. So that was the only exposure to movies I had. But I remember, by the way, that this is when I saw Les Parapluies de Cherbourg, which was the very first film of Catherine Deneuve, which is still today an amazing movie. And I will never forget that movie. And I told Catherine Deneuve, I told her, you know, that's the first time I saw you, and I still dream of this time. So I got some taste of understanding movies. We used to have Cine Club in Jamhour. We saw a lot of Hitchcock's movie, a lot of great movies. So probably this opened my mind to appreciate what movies are. So maybe it gave me some preparation. You can tell Donald.
Yeah.
I hope he heard you. We have another question for you.
Yeah, he was in the movie, by the way, probably, Donald. Yeah.
Do we want to take a question from the room first?
Since we're focused on you, Joey.
Yeah, let's focus on. Well, let's focus on Asad Zared has a question. A little bit. We're changing gears here. What would you advise each one of us in the diaspora to do for Lebanon?
So there is so much to do in Lebanon. You don't know where to start, obviously, but you should start somewhere. I think there are so many associations that can help. There is so much need. But I find that the important thing for us Lebanese is whichever association we help, that we know that they are honest people and that the money is going to go where it should go. And we should really try to build this reputation of honesty and integrity, because there have been too many scandals of Lebanese, unfortunately, and that stained our reputation of Lebanese. Most of us are honest people, well-meaning people, but there are always some bad deeds that stain everybody else. So we have to promote associations that are honest. But I think at local level, we can each one make groups and help and join. So, but do something. We have to do something. If each Lebanese does something to Lebanon, we could change the whole country. But many of us, rightly so, feel depressed and hopeless. And once you are depressed and hopeless, you don't do much. But when you start to do something, hope comes back, and then you start to see that there is something that can change.
Gabi, this evening is about hope.
Exactly. So that's really, it's important not to let ourselves be paralyzed by the bad news. You know, we have to see beyond the bad news. And I don't believe that there are problems that cannot be solved at some point. I don't believe that. I think we can hang on, we can continue, and one day we will see the light. We don't always see the reward of what we do. You know, sometimes you work for years on something, and then suddenly one day you realize that, oh my God, those years of work, they got me there. So we have to believe that we cannot stop. We have to continue, work and help, and do the best we can.
Questions from the audience? Live.
Hi, thank you so much for this time. You've been so inspiring. I'm on the edge of my seat. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Do you work with children, and do you have any resources, education, advocacy you would recommend to those of us who are listening to you today?
So I don't work specifically with children, but our association was founded to help children. And over the years, since 2003, till now, we have helped a lot of children go to school. So this is the first year we do not raise money for the children. We raise money for children every single year, and I don't know the full amount, but we've raised more than 2.5 million maybe at this point altogether.
Altogether,
like
yeah, but including tonight or not?
Tonight maybe, yeah. But
More than
and we've sent probably more than 1,000 kids to school. So that's what we've done so far. Of course, tonight we want the teachers to stay there so the kids can get something. So we're helping the kids indirectly.
Last question of the evening.
You can ask me any question, guys. Don't be shy.
Yes, thank you. As a tradition, during my time, the class of philosophy at the end of the year will present a theater, some sort of theater piece. I don't know if my class was the last one. It was 1962. But, we had such a bad boys in the class. I can name few that you're all familiar with. Like Amin Jmail, Karim Pakradoni, they're all politicians. So the professor, or the priest, Père Pellissier, got so pissed off at us that he didn't help us go through the production of the theater. But we went ahead all by ourselves. Don't have to tell you, it was a flop. And it ended, very badly at the end. I'm not sure after that there was ever a class of philosophy that presented theater, some sort of show at the end of the year. But that was a tradition in Jamhour. I don't know if you people are aware of that, but I'd like you to be informed. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it happened with my generation. Maybe because of what you've done at that time, you messed it up.
I'm sure it was.
You want to put it up? Okay, so I was just informed that Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I'm sure Jamhour teachers and the generations to come are going to be so grateful. Thank you all so much for your generosity.
I'd like to make one little announcement, actually. Charbel Tager, who is Promo 1971, and Charbel has been an incredible supporter for the Jamhour Alumni. His sister, Amira, his late sister, has come to every event, and if she didn't come to one or two events, she supported us every year. Amira unfortunately passed away in the past few months, and she left. Charbel just told me right now, beside all the help she gave us over the years, he told me that she put in her will that she will help the IUS, the Alumni Association, every year with a gift of $20,000.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to stand for Amira.
What you have not said is that she told me that she loved Gabi and Nada so much, and that for her, they are Jamhour, and that it's in their honor that she's doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the evening.